Breaking news. The wait is finally over. If you or a loved one depends on Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, today is a game changer. Payments have just been officially approved and are depositing right now, putting much-needed money directly into millions of accounts across the country. Whether it's to cover rent, groceries, medical bills, or daily essentials, this deposit could make a huge difference in your month. But here's the catch. There are important details you need to know to make sure you get your payment smoothly and on time. From understanding who qualifies to avoiding common pitfalls and scams, we're breaking down everything you need in real time so you don't miss out or get caught off guard. This isn't just an update. It's your financial lifeline for the weeks ahead, so you want to be fully prepared. And if you're wondering how to track your deposit or what to do if you don't see it, we've got you covered with expert tips and insider info. Don't scroll past. This video is a must-watch for anyone receiving SSA, SSI, or SSDI benefits right now. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and get the latest verified updates as soon as they drop, smash that like button and subscribe now. Let's dive in and make sure your payment lands safely today. All right, now that you've heard the breaking news, let's get into exactly what's happening today with Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, and Social Security Disability Insurance payments. Millions of Americans rely on these payments every single month, and today is one of those crucial days when the funds start rolling into bank accounts across the country. This isn't just routine. It's a lifeline for so many families and individuals who count on this money to keep their lights on, pay rent, and put food on the table. So, if you're wondering whether you'll see your deposit today, how the payment schedule works, or what to do if something doesn't go as planned, you're in the right place. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to make sure you get your payment safely and on time. First, let's talk about timing. The Social Security Administration and the Treasury have coordinated to release payments for SSA, SSI, and SSDI beneficiaries starting today. For many, this means direct deposits will begin hitting accounts as early as this afternoon or evening, depending on your bank's processing times. If you're set up for direct deposit, this is the fastest and most secure way to get your funds. But if you receive paper checks, those usually take longer and will arrive in the mail over the next several days. One important thing to keep in mind is the staggered payment schedule. Social Security benefits are typically paid based on your birthday. If your birthday falls in the first 10 days of the month, your payment usually lands on the second Wednesday. If your birthday is between the 11th and 20th, it's the third Wednesday, and if you were born after the 20th, it's the fourth Wednesday. Today's deposits mostly cover those in the first group, so if your birthday is early in the month, you're likely one of the first to get paid. SSI payments work a little differently. They generally arrive on the first of the month, or the last business day before if the first lands on a weekend or holiday. And SSDI, which is for those receiving disability benefits, usually follows the same schedule as Social Security based on birth dates. If you're wondering why the government does it this way, it's to help spread out the deposits so banks and payment systems aren't overwhelmed. It also gives beneficiaries a predictable schedule to plan their finances around. Still, if you're new to these programs or haven't kept track before, it can feel a bit confusing, which is why staying informed is so important. Now let's talk about the actual process of receiving your payment. If you're set up with direct deposit, your bank will usually post the funds to your account either late in the day or early the next morning. Some banks have specific cutoff times, so if your payment was processed late today, you might see it early tomorrow instead. If you're not sure, it's a good idea to check your bank's policies or call customer service. For those who don't use direct deposit, paper checks can take longer. The USPS has been working hard, but mail delays still happen, especially in rural areas or during bad weather. If you haven't received your check within a couple of weeks, you should contact the Social Security Administration to report it and ask for a replacement. But remember, replacements take additional processing time, so the sooner you report, the better. One thing that's worth emphasizing today is the importance of security. Sadly, scammers love to target beneficiaries around payment dates because they know people are expecting money. If you get calls, emails, or texts claiming to be from the SSA, Treasury, or IRS asking for your bank account information, social security number, or payment details, be extremely cautious. The government will never call you to demand information or payments to release your stimulus or benefits. If you suspect a scam, hang up immediately and report it to the Social Security Office of the Inspector General or the Treasury Inspector General for tax administration. Protecting yourself from identity theft is critical, especially right now when criminals ramp up their efforts to exploit vulnerable populations. Now, a question many people ask is, what if I didn't receive my payment today? First off, don't panic. Payments are processed over several days, and depending on your payment method, bank, and the SSA's internal systems, there can be delays. Also, if you recently changed your bank account or mailing address, the payment might take longer or could be sent to your old account or address. It's important to keep your information up to date on the SSA website or by calling their helpline. If you still don't see your payment after a week or so, you can file a missing payment claim with the SSA. This lets them investigate and resolve any issues. For SSDI and SSI, contacting the SSA directly is the best course of action. Another key detail to understand is that these payments are not taxable income. You don't owe taxes on the Social Security, SSI, or SSDI payments themselves, which means the full amount you receive stays in your hands. However, some individuals with higher income may owe taxes on Social Security benefits, so it's always a good idea to check with a tax professional if you're unsure. Let's also briefly discuss what you can do with your payment once it lands. If you're in a tight spot financially, it's important to prioritize essentials. Rent, utilities, groceries, and medications come first. If possible, try to set aside a small emergency fund to help cover unexpected expenses. Experts often recommend having at least a few $100s saved for emergencies, which can reduce stress when life throws a curveball. If you're managing debts, this payment can help chip away at high-interest balances, which frees up more money down the road. And if you're in a stable position, consider using part of the payment to boost savings or invest in your future. Every small step can make a big difference. For those who are caregivers or helping elderly family members or disabled individuals, today's deposit is equally critical. Many dependents rely on these payments for daily care and living expenses. If you're assisting someone, make sure they know when to expect their payment and help them monitor their accounts to avoid fraud. Now, shifting gears a bit, it's also important to talk about the big picture. These payments aren't just about monthly income. They represent a promise from the government to support millions of Americans who have worked hard or are facing significant challenges. The SSA, SSI, and SSDI programs provide essential financial support that helps people maintain dignity and independence. In recent years, these programs have faced budget pressures and political debates, so it's more important than ever to stay informed and advocate for the resources that keep these benefits flowing. The good news is that, despite the challenges, the SSA continues to process payments reliably and is making improvements to its systems, including digital tools that allow beneficiaries to check payment status, update their information, and communicate directly with the agency online. If you haven't already, creating an online account at ssa.gov is a smart move. It gives you instant access to your payment history, benefit statements, and important notifications. For SSI and SSDI recipients, this kind of access can be a game changer in managing your benefits proactively. On the topic of updates, it's worth mentioning that the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, will affect your benefit amounts in the upcoming months. This annual increase helps offset inflation and rising living costs, which is particularly important given how prices for essentials have been climbing. The SSA will announce the official COLA soon, but it's expected to boost payments slightly in 2026. While it may not solve every financial challenge, every bit helps, especially for seniors and disabled individuals on fixed incomes. Before we move on, I want to touch on one more important aspect: how these payments interact with other government programs. Many people receiving SSA, SSI, or SSDI benefits also qualify for Medicaid, food assistance programs like SNAP, or housing support. The good news is that receiving your Social Security or disability payment generally does not affect your eligibility for these other programs. However, it's always a good idea to check with your local social services office or a benefits counselor to understand how your full financial picture fits together. Now, let's circle back to the question of how these payments are funded. Social Security and disability benefits come from the Social Security Trust Fund, which is supported by payroll taxes paid by workers and employers. This system has been in place for decades and is designed to provide a stable source of funding for these vital programs. Occasionally, you may hear concerns about the long-term solvency of the trust fund. While these are valid policy discussions, it's important to know that benefits are still being paid on schedule and millions depend on these payments every month. Advocacy groups and policymakers continue to work on solutions to strengthen Social Security and related programs for future generations, but today's focus is on the here and now, making sure your payment gets to you safely. Finally, I want to share some practical tips for today and the days ahead. Keep an eye on your bank account or mailbox, but don't stress if you don't see the deposit immediately. Timing varies. Be vigilant about scams and only use official government websites or phone numbers when checking payment status or updating information. If you get a prepaid debit card instead of a direct deposit, activate it promptly and read the instructions carefully. These cards are safe but may have fees for certain transactions, so understanding how to use yours is key. For anyone who isn't currently receiving benefits but believes they may qualify, now is a great time to start the application process. Processing times can be lengthy, so the sooner you apply, the sooner you can get on the payment schedule. Remember, Social Security and disability benefits are there to provide you with stability and peace of mind. Taking the time to stay informed and proactive will help you get the most out of these programs. As today's payments begin to hit accounts, stay patient and stay safe. This money is your right, and it's crucial to protect it from scams or errors. Now let's dive deeper into some of the challenges people sometimes face with their payments and how you can avoid or solve them quickly. One common issue is payment delays. While the government does everything possible to get your money to you on time, sometimes things happen behind the scenes. System updates, bank errors, or verification holds that can slow down your payment. If you ever notice your payment is late, the first step is to check your official online account with the SSA or the VA. They often post notices there if there are known delays. If there's no explanation online, don't hesitate to call the Social Security Administration or your local office. It's better to be proactive and ask than to wait and worry. Sometimes, a small piece of missing paperwork or a needed signature can cause a holdup, and catching that early means a quicker resolution. For people receiving SSI, there's an extra layer of complexity because eligibility is also based on income and resources. If you've recently had a change in income, maybe you started a part-time job, got some help from family, or had an unexpected expense, it's critical to report those changes to the SSA immediately. Failure to do so can result in overpayments, which means you'll have to pay money back later, or worse, temporary suspension of benefits. Now, let's talk about the role of family and caregivers in managing these benefits. Many seniors or disabled adults rely on family members to help track their finances or handle communication with government agencies. If you're in this position, it's important to establish clear communication and set up official permissions where possible. For example, the SSA offers a representative payee program, where someone you trust can be authorized to manage your benefits on your behalf. This setup protects everyone involved and ensures payments are used properly for the beneficiary's needs. It also helps prevent fraud or mismanagement of funds. If you're a representative payee or thinking of becoming one, there are resources available to guide you through your responsibilities. Speaking of fraud, it's important to keep in mind that criminals don't just target individuals. They sometimes try to impersonate SSA employees to steal money or information. Always verify any suspicious contact by going directly to official websites or calling verified phone numbers. Don't rely on caller ID alone, as scammers can spoof numbers. A related tip: keep your Social Security card in a safe place and never share your Social Security number unless absolutely necessary. You'd be surprised how often scammers try to trick people into revealing this critical piece of information. Another aspect to consider is how these payments can impact your eligibility for other benefits. For example, some states have their own supplement programs that add to your federal SSI benefits, and these can vary widely. Additionally, Medicaid and Medicare eligibility might be linked to your SSA or SSDI status. Understanding how your benefits fit into the larger healthcare and social safety net system can save you money and give you access to important services. If you're unsure, talking to a social worker, benefits counselor, or even your healthcare provider can be a helpful step. Now let's shift focus slightly and look at what the future holds for Social Security, SSI, and SSDI programs. While today's payment is critical, it's also part of a much larger system that's adapting to changing demographics, economic pressures, and political priorities. The baby boomer generation is aging, meaning more people will qualify for Social Security retirement and disability benefits in coming years. This has created debates about how to fund the system sustainably, how to prevent fraud, and how to adjust eligibility rules to reflect longer life expectancies and changing work patterns. While these discussions happen at the federal level, it's important for you, as a beneficiary or soon-to-be beneficiary, to stay informed. Being knowledgeable helps you advocate for your rights and also plan your personal finances more effectively. Many experts recommend diversifying your sources of income if possible, such as through part-time work, retirement savings, or other government programs. While Social Security and disability benefits provide a foundation, they might not cover every expense, especially as healthcare costs rise. Now, circling back to the practical side, if you're receiving your payment today, this is a perfect time to set up reminders or alerts on your phone or bank app. Many banks allow you to get notifications when deposits hit your account, which helps you stay on top of your finances and detect any unusual activity quickly. Also, take advantage of the SSA's online tools if you haven't yet. You can check your upcoming payment dates, download benefit verification letters, update your contact information, and more. This kind of direct access puts you in the driver's seat, reducing the need to wait on hold or visit offices in person. For veterans receiving VA payments, a similar story applies. The VA is continually improving its online systems to provide real-time updates on benefits, claim status, and payment history. If you're a veteran or a caregiver, setting up an account on va.gov can save you time and stress. It's also a good idea to know the contact info for your local VA regional office. In some cases, personal visits or phone calls can solve complex problems faster than online systems alone. Now, what about the big picture impact of these payments? For many communities, Social Security, SSI, and SSDI payments are an economic lifeline. Local businesses, healthcare providers, and service agencies often rely on this steady stream of income circulating in the community. That means when payments are delayed or disrupted, it can have a ripple effect, affecting not just individual beneficiaries, but the broader local economy. That's why the government prioritizes making these payments on time, even during federal shutdowns or emergencies. Speaking of emergencies, 2026 also brings some potential challenges. Weather events, pandemics, or political disruptions can sometimes affect government operations. While the SSA and Treasury have contingency plans, it's wise to have an emergency plan for yourself or your family. Having a small stash of cash, a backup bank account, or trusted contacts who can help if your payment is delayed can be invaluable. Also, keeping important documents in an accessible but secure place will help you recover quickly if needed. Before we wrap this section, I want to address one more important issue: mental health and stress. Waiting for your benefits or worrying about money can take a serious toll on your well-being. If you're feeling overwhelmed, know that you're not alone. There are many nonprofit organizations, community centers, and even government programs that offer counseling, support groups, and financial planning assistance. Don't hesitate to reach out. Sometimes talking with someone who understands your situation can make all the difference. In summary, today's deposit of SSA, SSI, and SSDI payments is much more than a simple transaction. It's a crucial moment that impacts millions of lives, providing financial security, independence, and peace of mind. By staying informed, protecting yourself from scams, and using the resources available, you can make the most of these benefits. As you check your bank account or mailbox today, remember the broader story behind your payment, one of commitment, community, and care. And as always, keep your information up to date, watch for important announcements, and reach out for help if you need it. Thank you for being part of this community, and stay tuned for more updates as we continue to follow Social Security and related benefits throughout 2026.